Hey everybody, welcome to Jacob's Quest, and today we got a brand new trailer for the Uncharted movie, which this thing has been in development hell for like a decade, I think. I want to say I first heard about there being an Uncharted movie back in 2013. They were trying to get this thing going, so it's been a while, and I think even back then, funnily enough, I think Mark Wahlberg was up for the role of Nathan Drake. But of course, you know, that was just like 8 years ago. Yeah, you know, another video game movie. Obviously, they don't have the best history. I think in recent years, there have been at least a handful of like, okay, these ones are not so bad. These are watchable movies. But you know, I still don't think we're in that place yet where, you know, eventually I want video game movies to be where comic book movies are now, where they are, you know, fully thought out actual stories. I don't think we're fully in that place yet, but we're like approaching there. We're like, you know, if Marvel's Avengers was like the start of like this modern, you know, greatness, then video game movies is still back kind of where Blade 1 and 2 were, you know, where it's like it's the early days, not all of them are gonna work, we don't have like a full plan, but every once in a while you'll get like a Blade 1 and Blade 2, you know, where it's like, okay, these are actually pretty good, you know. I think we're like kind of around that area still with video game movies. Yeah, I've played all the Uncharted games. I love all of them. And I don't know how I feel about Tom Holland, Spider-Man playing a younger Nathan Drake. I don't know how. Maybe this trailer will convince me. But anyways, let's go ahead and press play and we'll talk about the rest of this afterwards. Here we go.
There are places out there you can't find on any map. They're not gone. They're just lost.
Okay. Wonder who that is. A bar.
Hey kid, a little young for a bartender, aren't you?
A little old for prom, aren't you?
Okay, so yeah, this is very, very young Nathan Drake.
Why the map?
This is the path that Ferdinand Magellan took to sail around the world.
You know your history.
It's the biggest treasure that's never been found.
5 billion, easy.
Still no mustache. Could have at least
I think
grown a
you're 'cause
mustache.
your brother.
Well, you know my brother Sam?
They're already talking about his brother.
Find him too.
That's interesting. We'll talk about that, brother.
I'm a friend of Sully's. Sally doesn't have any friends. I should not even one of them.
Oh, is that what's your name?
You are a collector.
Well, I dabble.
I don't dabble.
What?
My family has been looking for this fortune for a very long time.
So he's the
So
bad
much
guy in this one, huh?
blood.
That's interesting.
I'm pretty sure he's just threatening to kill me.
Don't touch your ear like that. You look like an idiot.
You have no idea who you partnered with.
I've been dreaming about this stuff since I was a kid. My brother Sam left one final clue.
Okay, so obviously this is you know, a big set piece from the I think the third game, I want to say. Okay. Uncharted. Okay.
Oh my God!
I shouldn't have come out to play with the big boys, Ian, because you're about to get a proper Scottish welcome.
What?
Yeah, I was actually gonna. Okay, I'm glad they made that joke because I was gonna rewind it to try and figure out what he just said. Okay. Okay, exclusive cities coming in. Interesting. Okay, well, that was interesting. That was not too bad. I think the comedy in this movie is gonna work really well. And you know, to be honest with you, I think that, you know, if this were named something else completely unrelated to Uncharted, then I would not even be like concerned at all, you know, because it seems like it's going to be a good adventure comedy type thing going on here. They are making some interesting choices here. First, Mark Wahlberg didn't even bother to grow a mustache. He could have at least done that. Now, funny thing is that I do remember seeing like some kind of Instagram post or something where they're like, no, look, Mark Wahlberg did grow a mustache. That's probably gonna be like an after credits thing, and it's gonna be like, oh, he'll have one in the next one or something. I don't know. But anyways, we'll get back to Sully, Mark Wahlberg's Sully. So they are using Nathan Drake's brother as basically a major plot point, like one of the motivating plot points for him to go on this adventure, which that's an interesting direction to go. In the games, Nathan Drake kind of just had like this, first, his brother was not even like a thing until number 4. His brother literally, like, he shows up in number 4 and they're like, oh yeah, he's totally had a brother the whole time. We just never mentioned it in the last 3 games. But they made it work. It worked. Like, I didn't actually see many complaints about it. But so right away they're like, yeah, he has a brother. His brother left him some clues, probably for whatever this hunt is. I am curious if they will introduce the brother in this movie. Like, will he actually show up by the end of it? So I'm kind of curious who they will cast as the brother. That's kind of interesting. And yeah, look, here's my thing. Right now, I'm gonna say I can see this being a proper, full adaptation of what we know from the video games. Probably another, I don't know, another 10 years from now. By the time we get to Uncharted, like 4 or 5, then I can see like, okay, they are actually like, everyone's getting to the right age. Everyone is at, or at least looking like the right age. And so now we're just, this is not like a young Nathan Drake story. This is just a Nathan Drake story. So yeah, it's right now, as long as they can, like, it's gonna take some time, but I can get used to it. The idea that this is like, okay, this is young, they're not fully themselves yet, they're not fully who they're gonna be. It's an interesting direction to take, but maybe it'll work in the movie's favor, because I'm not as able to easily make a comparison. I'm not able to be like, okay, well, we can stack these two 1-to-1 and see how much worse it is or whatever, because this is so different now. I have to like frame it differently as like, no, this is like 10 years before those events would ever take place. It's like, okay, I can adjust some things here. Now about Sully, Mark Wahlberg Sully. Okay, look, like I said, from what I remember, Mark Wahlberg was, like 10 years ago, he was gonna play Nathan Drake in the movie they were trying to get off the ground, and then it never happened. So now him coming back as Sully, but essentially however old Mark Wahlberg is, he's still essentially playing Nathan Drake, like the actual adult age Nathan Drake, because he didn't grow a mustache. He's not attempting to talk like Sully talks. He's not even, he's probably not even gonna have a cigar, and that's, so he's probably not gonna do a lot of the Sully things that we kind of expect him to do. He's probably not even gonna wear the button-up Hawaiian shirts, you know what I mean? So there's a lot of things that, like, it feels like Mark Wahlberg just wanted to play Nathan Drake, or he wanted to at least be the main cool character. And because now someone at the studio, I'm sure, was like, oh, he's kind of too old now, so let's make him Sully. But you don't have to play old man Sully. You can still basically just be Mark Wahlberg. And that's kind of disappointing, because Sully is a cool character, and I don't feel like I'm seeing Sully in this movie at all. So there's that. But I can see Tom Holland being a good Nathan Drake eventually, so I don't know. We'll see how this movie actually turns out. If nothing else, if it's not a good adaptation of Uncharted, it does at least look like it will be a competent, watchable, comedy adventure kind of thing, So maybe I'll come out of there seeing, like, as an Uncharted movie, didn't really do anything. It's got like some references, obviously, to like events that you play through, but it doesn't really feel like Uncharted. But maybe I'll still have a good time despite that. So yeah, I think that's the other thing, is that, like, even with the Sonic the Hedgehog movie, which, it's one of the only video game comparisons I can think of that are actually, like, that movie was, it was a family friendly movie, but because Jim Carrey was in there playing a very different version of Robotnik that we've ever seen, but it worked because the comedy worked, so even if it was not like a straight adaptation of what I'm used to seeing, if it's still entertaining, if it's still good and watchable, then it can kind of still work, so despite some of the things that don't look like Uncharted, if it's still a fun adventure movie, it might just work still. So yeah, anyways, let me know what you guys think. Let me know what issues you might have here, and if they do end up making it all the way to like Uncharted 3 and 4, these characters might actually be able to start looking like the way they're supposed to look. So I don't know, I'm excited for that. Yeah, let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.